Hello and welcome to Dad's 8th round 5-word challenge story. Now, just to recap before we start, the 5 words that I had to include in this story, they are clown, table, hole, mud, and pirate. So listen out for those words as we go. The title of the story is The Funny Pirate. Koko was a clown in the greatest travelling circus in the world. In fact, he was not just any old clown. He was the best, funniest, and most daring performer ever. Each performance was a sellout, and every year the circus tent had to get bigger and bigger to accommodate the endless demand to watch this funny circus performer. Before long, it was as big as the largest tent in London, only a lot less expensive. One evening, during a performance in front of thousands of excited men, women, and children who clapped and laughed at Koko's silly antics, disaster struck. The clown was juggling and pulling funny faces whilst riding a unicycle on a table when the table broke. Crash! The one-wheeled bike bounced off the floor a few times. The juggling balls rolled all over the place as the table lay in pieces. But wait, where was Koko? The ringmaster ran to the scene and moved the rubble, but his star performer was nowhere to be seen. What everyone in the circus tent did see, though, was a big hole in the mud. Falling, and still falling. Koko had indeed disappeared down the hole when the table broke. But this dark tunnel he found himself in seemed to go on forever. Finally, there was light at the end of the tunnel, getting bigger and brighter with every passing second. Eventually, the funny entertainer fell out of the hole, but not back into the circus tent. Oh no, not a tent at all. He could see daylight for a start, the sun shining brightly in the sky. Koko had fallen onto a ship. It looked a pretty nice vessel by all accounts, until he noticed the big black flag waving in the breeze with a picture of a skull and crossbones on it. Uh-oh. Koko had to get off as quickly as possible. But it was too late. Sounds of shouting and running could now be heard, getting louder and louder. They were heading this way. Quick! I have to hide, the clown said, as he found the hatch on the deck, and as quick as a flash was now hiding in the space below it. Phew, that was close, he thought. Little did he know that his adventure was only just about to begin. Hiding below deck, Koko was starting to sweat and was very nervous. It was dark, and with all his clown makeup, funny hair, and costume still on, it was really hot. Footsteps, the pounding of feet as the pirates came aboard the ship. "Army hearties, stow the treasure, raise the sails, and set sail for yonder. Let's be having you," came a voice, barking orders. Only it was not the one the funny entertainer was expecting. It was a lady. Suddenly, the hatch opened, and a large chest was thrown into the dark void below deck. Scurrying noises, like rats running around, could be heard above Koko's head, as the pirates hastily made ready their escape. Before long, the vessel was bobbing up and down in the water, the stowaway clown becoming increasingly unwell. the longer he remained below deck, in the hot, dark space, as songs and cheering could be heard by the joyous crew, clearly happy with their efforts. The ship slowed. A shout of "Land ahoy!" echoed around Coco's ears. Very shortly, the vessel would anchor. What would happen to the hiding clown? Would he be able to find a way out? The answer to that question was no. When two fierce-looking pirates opened the hatch and lifted the treasure chest, Coco was discovered. "Captain, we have ourselves a stowaway down here. Funny-looking thing it is," they bellowed. Dragged out of the darkness and into the blazing sunshine, the clown was tied to the mast, as the other pirates laughed at the appearance of this brightly coloured being before them. With a spotty outfit, oversized shoes, fuzzy hair, a big red nose, and wait, are they wearing makeup too? Oh, how they chuckled. That was until the lady's voice was heard again. "So, what do we have here then?" she began. "A stowaway? On my ship?" The lady pirate stomped over to where Coco sat, trying to shield his eyes as much as possible from the blinding sun, which was made even more difficult as his hands were tied behind his back. She started to question the hideaway, but when she asked him how he got there, and he told her he just fell out of the sky, Captain Peyton was furious as all the other pirates roared with laughter, tears streaming down their faces. "Enough!" she shouted. "So, we have ourselves a funny guy, do we? Well, we know what we do with funny guys, don't we, boys?" The fierce captain continued. "Walk the plank! Walk the plank! Walk the plank!" came the chorus from the ship's choir. "Feed him to the crocs," Captain Peyton concluded. Coco pleaded, but it was no good, as he was led to the plank. Shuffling slowly along the wooden diving board, the poor clown could see the hungry crocs waiting below. He tried to go back, but his route was blocked. He was doomed. Or was he? So as not to get water up his nose, Coco went to hold it, forgetting he still had his big red clown nose on. Honk! The pirates roared with laughter again. "Wait," Captain Peyton said. "Bring him ashore. At least let's have ourselves some evening entertainment before we leave him to rot." The pirates untied Coco the clown and hoisted him onto the rowing boat as they made their way to the soft white sands of the desert island. With the treasure buried, a pirate feast began, with food, singing, and dancing, but not for the circus entertainer, who lay there, tied up again, with the crabs pinching at his toes. After his adventure so far, Coco's tummy rumbled. He was really, really hungry. As the festivities subsided, Captain Peyton threw scraps of food at the clown before saying, "Let the real entertainment commence," looking at Coco and declaring, "Make us laugh, funny man, or we will get our fun from watching you get eaten by the crocs." It was time for the nervous Coco to perform, and he didn't disappoint. Juggling fire logs, honking his nose, squirting water from the flower in his costume, presenting Captain Peyton with flowers pulled out of his hat, falling over and generally bumping into people, The pirate crew were loving it. Even their captain managed a smile or two. When Koko had finished, the pirates rolling around in the warm sand, tummies hurting from all the laughter, it was time for a new plan. Fed properly, clothes washed and well rested, Koko felt much better as the pirate ship entered port. Only the skull and crossbones flag was nowhere to be seen. Koko performed for the townsfolk, and the gold poured in. When counted, it was more gold than Captain Peyton had ever stolen. The clever pirate leader was on to something. The pirates never did steal again. Instead, Captain Peyton made Koko, the clown, her first mate, a very important job, and his first role was to train the crew. News of the funny pirates spread far and wide. Every town across the 7 seas wanted to see them. It was not long before their ship had been upgraded, but they still had far too much gold for it to hold. So do you know what they did? Captain Peyton visited every place her and her crew had ever stolen from and gave back every coin. No, gave back every coin and more. And they also said sorry. As for Koko, he was still the funniest clown that ever lived and had a great life traveling the world with the funny pirates, and most of all, making people laugh. The end.